I talk a lot about investing on this channel, but sometimes it's good to take a step back and think, why? Why do I actually invest? Why do I put all this money aside instead of spending everything now? And in this video, I'm going to quickly cover exactly that. Why do I invest? But more importantly, how am I going to get to that goal? How am I going to achieve that goal? And sort of break down how it's not some pie in the sky, impossible milestone to reach. If you ask most people why they invest, it's probably because they have dreams of early retirement. And for me, it's something similar. But rather than having a specific age in mind, you do have to have some sort of age just so you can have some sort of goal. But it's not necessarily that I want to retire at that age. It's more I want the option to. If I continue working past that point, it's because I want to. It's not because I have to. And for me, that age is 50. So I'm currently 27, so there's 23 years to play with here. And for me, when I hit 50, I want to, at that point, if I continue working, I want it to be my choice. I'm going to work because I want to. Maybe it's a part-time job. Maybe I continue a full-time job. Or maybe I pursue a passion project. But the key thing is, it's my choice. And I'm not after some sort of luxurious lifestyle. It's all about having that time and those options. So if I wake up one morning and I want to play Skyrim on my computer all day, I will be doing that. If I want to take out my family for a meal, I don't have to worry about checking my budget before doing that. If I want to book a holiday, I can book that holiday whenever I want. I don't have to check with my boss about annual leave, how many days I've got remaining, or when others are off. I can do exactly what I want when I want. So that is my why I'm investing. It's not about being super frugal and not living in the now. It's about balance. I'm going to live in the now, but I'm also going to give myself options later in life. And we talk about investing specifically rather than saving, just because investing gives me a better chance of achieving those goals. Saving, the big problem with saving is that even if you put all this money aside, if you just have it in a savings account, there's a good chance that you're going to lose value in real terms. Inflation, the increase in the cost of goods and services, is going to be more than that small return you're going to get in a savings account. Or even if you are super savvy with savings accounts and say you somehow find accounts that keep up with inflation, you're just going to have the value of your contributions. You're not gaining any money. And contributions alone can make it really hard to achieve that goal of early retirement. And the final thing, before we get into the how, some people might think, why am I thinking about this so early when I'm in my 20s still? Well, the important thing with investing is that the earlier you start thinking about it, the easier it is to achieve because of the power of compound interest, compounding returns. Every extra year you have for your investments to grow can make a massive difference. And although you can start investing at any stage in life and it is still achievable, the amount you have to put in is obviously going to be more the closer you are to your retirement date. So by thinking about it now, I'm just making it easier for myself to reach that goal. So the strategy, how am I going to get there? Well, I'm going to be investing in both my stocks and shares ISA and my pension, the self-invested personal pension and my workplace pension. But in this video, we're going to focus on my stocks and shares ISA and self-invested personal pension. So the current balance of my stocks and shares ISA is around £53,000. And I'm going to aim to contribute a minimum of £6,000 per year or £500 per month into my stocks and shares ISA. And of course, ISA contributions are after tax. It's after my income has been taxed. From my take-home pay, I'm going to aim to put £500 per month. Now, to project forward what my ISA could be worth in 23 years' time, we have to use some sort of return to input into a calculator. Now, this is never going to be perfect for a few reasons. One, the biggest reason of all, there's never any guarantees. We have no idea what returns will be. And also, the sequence of returns risk. So the sequence in which you get those returns heavily dictates the final figure. But we have to have a number to put in, otherwise we can't run these calculations at all. So the number I'm using is a 5% real return. And where I've got that return from is the Global Investment Returns Yearbook. So historical data from 1900 to 2024 for the US stock market, real returns after inflation for US equities was 6.6% per year, and UK equities was 5.4% per year. So 5% as a real return figure is actually slightly below the long-term track record of US and UK equities. Again, no guarantees, but I do think this number is quite conservative for me to use. And based on this, so if I'm investing £6,000 per year into my ISA, currently at £53,000 and a 5% real return, in 23 years, I would have £408,000 in my ISA. And remember, I'm using a real return, so that's £408,000 in today's money. I have to make that very clear because you might be thinking, well, in 23 years' time, £408,000 might not be that much. Well, we're using the real return, 5%. Say, for example, my nominal return might be 8 or 9%. After inflation, 5%. So that figure, £400,000 is adjusted for inflation. Now, the key advantage of an ISA is you can withdraw from an ISA at any time, and those withdrawals are tax-free. So at 50, I could withdraw from that ISA. And say I withdrew 5% of that figure per year, that would give me about £20,400 income per year just from that ISA in withdrawals and tax-free. So £20,400 over the course of a year is about £1,700 per month take home. And basically, I could even withdraw more than that, because the key thing with the ISA is that I don't have to worry about a super safe withdrawal rate, because this just has to be the bridge between when I want to retire, say 50, and when I can access my SIP at a later age. So I could even do maybe a 6 or 7% withdrawal rate if that's not enough. But later in the video, I'll explain why £1,700 per month take home will probably be enough. And then later on, what kicks in is the pension access age, the SIP access age. That is currently 57, but I'm going to assume that that's going to increase a few years by the time I get there. And let's say the pension access age is 60. The current value of my SIP is £23,000, and I'm going to aim to contribute about £10,000 per year. I'm using the same 5% real return. So by the age of 50, that SIP value will be £485,000. Now, from age 50 to age 60, let's say I don't contribute anything, it just has another 10 years of 5% real return. That would be worth £790,000 at the age of 60. Again, using a real return figure, so that'll be in today's money. So at this point, at age 60, I've hopefully got some money still left in my ISA, because I'm not expecting to withdraw all of that £400,000 between age 50 and 60. And of course, that money in the ISA will still be invested. So hopefully those withdrawals from age 50 to age 60 haven't depleted the pot fully, although it might have made a significant dent into it. The point here is at age 60, I've now got the option to withdraw from my SIP. Now, SIP withdrawals, there may be some tax to pay, but the current rules are you can get 25% tax-free, and you can also stagger your withdrawals, obviously. So you're not going to always withdraw it in the same tax year, so you have your personal allowance to use. And I can't imagine myself ever paying more than the basic rate of tax on my SIP withdrawals, because in retirement, I'm not sure why I would need so much income to push myself into the higher rate of tax. And from this point onwards, this SIP is the pot to last. So we can go super simple and say 4% withdrawal rate, or we could even go lower, 3% withdrawal rate. And a 3% withdrawal rate on this pot would be about £23,000, £24,000 per year. And when you take into account 25% tax-free, the personal allowance, the amount of tax to be paid on this sum will be very minimal. And there's also the point with retirement that it's not linear. So some years you might take out more when you have plans, and then later in life, you probably don't need as much income. Now, I can imagine at this point, there will be some naysayers and thinking, this isn't that much money. And the key point here is that at this stage, I won't have any mortgage left. I have 23 years left on my mortgage. So by age 50, I will own my house outright. There'll be no mortgage to pay. So I'll just have council tax, bills as my core expenses. And that's why I think these figures aren't unrealistic at all. And I can still have a pretty luxurious retirement by my standards. I'll be able to go on holidays. I'll be able to cover all my bills. I'll be able to go to restaurants and all that sort of thing. I won't be living on beans on toast, because I think a lot of people hear these numbers and think that's ridiculous. It's just you can't live off that much money. And I just think, how can't you live off that much money? If your mortgage is paid, you've got no rent to pay. I think this is quite a considerable sum. And for what I want, for what I'm aiming for, this will be more than enough. Now, of course, the other thing that I haven't mentioned here is the state pension. That will come in topping up at 68, 69, 70, whatever that may be, or if it still exists at all. But if it does, that will, of course, also supplement my retirement plans. And then the other point as well, my wife also invests. She also has her own ISA and pensions. So when you factor all that in together, this is my plan. This is how I'm going to retire early. I just wanted to do this quick video, just a realistic run through of why I'm investing, how I'm going to get there. I've not gone into anything super detailed about my investments or the expected returns that I'm using. It's just a very simple run through of how I'm planning on getting there. And yes, I understand there's risk with investing, sequence of returns risk, the risk that the stock market returns aren't that good over the next 20 to 30 years. All those risks I'm aware of and I'm willing to take. And if there is a stock market crash in the worst possible time and I have to work an extra 5 to 10 years, then fair enough. But what I do know is by making these plans and by putting things into action now, I'm giving myself those options later in life, hopefully. And it's always better than doing nothing. I always think when you do these sort of videos, there'll definitely be at least some person saying, what's the point? You might never see that money. And I always think with that mindset, why do anything? If you always want to go with the idea that you might not live to that age or you never know what will happen in the future, the rules, you can't really do anything with that mindset. So I'm all about living in the now. I'm not limiting myself to the extreme. We still go on holidays, we still have a life now, but we're also putting money away for the side and giving ourselves options. Because it is true, who knows what the state pension will be in the future? So I don't want to rely on the state pension. I want to have my own retirement plans, give myself those options later in life, and I just hope that makes sense. Bit of a different video, bit rambly, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Why do you invest? Do you have a set goal? And I also want to quickly mention as well, for some people, myself included, investing is fun. So I actually get some sort of joy out of contributing to my ISA and choosing investments. That may be sad, but that's just a bonus for me because it means I can work towards my goals and I actually enjoy the process. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, thank you for watching.